And a lot of it is just pure, unadulterated greed and control over every little thing that us peasants do. God forbid we have a car where they don't know every nanosecond of where we went and what we did, what we listened to, who we talked to, who we texted to. Hey, look here, but don't look at the tens and thousands of customers that were screwed out. Let's talk about 2023 in review, where we talk about me, where we talk about you, and the perpetual dealership screw. This is Rip Roaring Garage. I'm Alex, and it's been one crazy year. Can we admit to that? Okay. What I want to do is a little bit of a review, obviously from my perspective, what I've seen owning a lot of these cars. If you're new to the channel, we focus on Mopars, but not only. I'm a big Ford guy as well, but old Fords, new Ford is Then again, everything new is kind of Obviously, the major topic everybody's talking about right now is the service member that got screwed out of a Demon 170. Everything's been said, and the guy, he's going to get his car. I'm going to meet Jay Leno. Whoop-de-doo. Good for him. Unfortunately, so many people, so many emails I got, people that tried to get these cars, even put the markup just to have it yanked out from under. I'm going to tell you a story. Back in 22, I wanted to get a super stock. I wanted it bad. I still think to this day, the super stock is the best modern Mopar Dodge ever built. Fight me over it. I think it's, I don't want to say better. It's basically the same car as the 18 Demon. Doesn't have the crate. It just has that heritage, the name, and come on, look at it. It's on the screen right now. Tell me that's not a badass looking car. It is. The story goes this way. I go to Chapman, this dealership in Pennsylvania. I had to drive a little bit to get it. Now, initially, I was after this car, this blue super stock. It was a very bare bones car, cloth seats, the houndstooth, and that's about it. And then they tell me that car sold. After I spoke to them for about 2 days that they had this car, I'm like, really? But as I'm there, they say, well, we got this Go Mango one, fully loaded. It's a pricey car. MSRP was damn near 120. That's not markup. That was the MSRP, the build sheet. And in taxes, it was a big expense for a guy like me. But that had become my dream car. So I asked about that. It's like, yeah, it's available. Let's do the paperwork. One of the few cases where I got the dealership to be, the one over the barrel, because they bought my old Camaro as a trade-in, 14.8 for an 8-year-old Camaro with 30,000 miles with bad warped brakes. Because I drove that thing hard. It was a V6, bare bones, automatic, nothing fun about it except it had louvers, which I liked, and they gave me a good deal on it. I owed about $7,000 left. Like I said, I'm not making money, so I was paying a lot. It was a lease buyout. I initially leased it and probably should have turned it in, but medical. And briefly about that, I know a lot of you guys are concerned. The heart attack thing kind of took a turn for the worse. I may need open heart surgery, bypass. One of the coronaries is all jacked up. It's going in places it shouldn't be going. But I'm in good spirits. And there's a part of me that thinks that maybe I'm not even going to go through with such a huge thing if it's not serious enough. But I lost weight, you can tell. Gone are my muscles. And that's one of the reasons why I wasn't so dead set on buying a Demon 170. I'm not going to try to pretend like I wanted one. The reality is that I just didn't feel it. And that's been, I think, a lot of 2023. We all didn't feel it. With all the hype that started at the beginning of the year, with the stupid Leprechaun and the release of each one of these cars. I don't know, man, but I'm done. I just want to enjoy my cars. I will have a video coming up about the problems, and it's a big problem that these cars have. The issue is they're not meant to be non-daily driven cars. So if you park this thing, you better have it on a tender, and a tender that can do 8 amps. A regular 7.5 amp will not cut it. And if you got 2 cars in the garage, then what? If your fuse is a 15 amp, bye-bye, you're going to be blowing fuses every day, especially as it gets warmer. I doubt many people have an air-conditioned garage. So these cars are always draining and eating up batteries. They don't like charging. I'm going to get into that. I have a very in-depth review of these electrical problems, the reason why, and a lot of it is just pure, unadulterated greed and control over every little thing that us peasants do. God forbid we have a car where they don't know every nanosecond of where we went and what we did, what we listened to, who we talked to, who we texted to. Let's get back to the Demon 170. This car has been hyped so much. Like, I like a lot of channels out there, and Butterdagreat, Butter the Insider, where he goes by both on multiple platforms. He was the one that apparently got the credit, spoke to Kniskus, which I got questions there. Like, why is Kniskus talking to you? Look, I'm trying to be fair, but the reality is that I think we're all entitled to a little bit of cynicism and disbelief when so much is going on. To me, I can just imagine a board meeting with Kniskus and saying, hey, this isn't a bad thing that we screwed over a soldier. No, this is an opportunity to make it an event. And let's get Jay Leno on board. And let's do all this cool stuff and show how the Brotherhood came to help this one guy. And use that as an avatar for their fakeness. Trying to, like, hey, look here. But don't look at the tens and thousands of customers that were screwed out. Many of them also, veterans, disabled veterans, guys that gave chunks of their body and their life to this country, but we don't care about that. Screw them. This guy had some connections. I know when I was living in the dorms. I was poor. There's no way I could afford a car like this. This guy, he's doing okay. I'm not, he's a young guy. He's still healthy and good for him. And that's kind of one of the things I keep seeing popping up on forums. A lot of people, and this is the hellcatforum.org. In fact, I think on this forum, you can actually see, where he's deployed. And I don't want to get into that. You have a lot of the sentiment amongst the people. And I'm using hellcatforum.org as a barometer for this. We're moving to a two-tier society where if you're connected, if you have a scoop, a good story that's sellable, active service member deployed to Iraq, gets car yanked from, that's very clickable. But it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that it takes something like that to get this story out, to get the guy his car. Like I said, I was at Chapman and I ended up buying this super stock. Happiest day in a long time. I go on Facebook and there's a group. Right. And if you do have a super stock, please join the super stock owners page, whatever. You'll find it. Just do a quick search. There's a guy there. He's taking all the VINs, doing a database, option lists, yada, 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 to document this for posterity. There's very few super stocks. It's the rarest modern Mopar. So I go there. I'm happy, post my photo of my car. This is it. Look, oh yeah, whatever. And I get a message like, hey, you bought that car from Chapman, didn't you? Sounding familiar. Is this the last 6 digits of the VIN? Sounding familiar? It's exactly what happened to the soldier. He had ordered the car, and then finds out that somebody came in and bought it because they offered more money. Now, in my case, I didn't offer more money. I don't know why Chapman screwed over this guy, but man, did I feel guilty. I felt like I stole a car. Now, what do? Obviously, I didn't flip it. I think I missed the boat when, before the Demon was announced, when the super stock was still the highest powered production car in the world, that kind of thing. That I think was the moment to get it when, you couldn't find one and there were people that wanted them. I love the car. I don't want to get rid of it. Yeah, I got 160 miles on it still. It's mostly because things happen, life happens, This story was very familiar and kind of hit home. I felt so guilty. So what do? I kept the car. That guy eventually did get something else, another super stock. Wasn't the one he wanted. It's something that we ended up accepting, but we shouldn't. I'd like to say all the good things that happened in 23, despite many of us being walloped hard by inflation, job losses, strikes, supply chains, there's still some good. And for me, I made a lot of new friends, good friends. I haven't forgotten about any one of you. I know there might be some guys we lost along the way. A guy that, his car was stolen. It was a 5.7, an RT. He called it, going on a diet. He stripped it, 2-seat conversion, made it look just beautiful, and they stole it. And it breaks my heart because he's done. He's done with the Mopar community. His car was taken away. The dream was defiled. And so many others that, you go look at a channel like Scrap Life Garage, and you see all those stolen cars, and each one of those is a dream that was shattered. A lot of ups and downs. For me, again, I will say this because I do want to thank everybody that in the last month bought the t-shirts, the speedboats. I am trying to figure out something to get some license plate frames. I did have a video that hit like 20-something thousand views. 20,000 people watched that video, and mostly it's the credit goes to Mopar Junkie that recorded it. The sound of the hurricane. We are getting some traction with the Haggerty story, with the fake manufactured story of the Black Ghost. We're moving. We're doing something. We're having some impact. It's slow moving, and a lot of it is my fault. But I'm chasing and I'm running to keep these cars. Like, you gotta start them every week. It used to be once a month, give it a crank. Like my old Jeep, that thing, no problems. I haven't started that in like 6 weeks. Cranks up, no issue. Why? I'll get into that in the next video. Here's the other story, the other, Stel Power. I don't know what their affiliation is with Stellantis. Like I said, most of you guys know the story. They don't say much about the service member. I would like to know more, but I can understand the guy being in country and whatnot. Like, all right, fine, but it shouldn't be this way. This is not the way you sell cars. Let us buy the damn thing. Don't restrict the number artificially, because you're not, like, Dodge is not making money off 3,300 cars. You make money when you sell like Hellcats, 50,000 in a year. Unfortunately, this is the legacy of Dodge. It's the taste that it left in our mouths of sticker packages that were marked up to all high heaven. I mean, imagine being somebody that bought 100,000 markup on a shakedown or a Black Ghost, and then find out that the whole story was a scam. This doesn't help our community and our love for cars. It just makes somebody bitter, and they say, screw it, I'm done. And I've seen a lot of people, because this is not a hobby. A hobby is reading. A hobby is playing basketball in your backyard. This is a lifestyle. It made me think, right here. Those guys that have the train sets, they're nuts. They're insane. Like, they got holes to the wall with little, N scale, O scale, whatever, all the things, little trees they put in. And I've been watching a lot of that lately. That's a lifestyle. The same with us with the cars. We don't just buy the car. We buy the parts. We have to store the parts. We keep, we do all these things. It's a very delicate balance. We all play that game. Sometimes it's family life. Sometimes it's just simply money. Got to put food on the table. Other times it's health, age. It makes me reflect. Like, what I wanted to do was go over the state of the fleet. Superstock is down. Battery's dead. 1320 is down. Battery is dead. The Charger Scat Pack wide body is also down, even though the battery, I had just replaced it prior to the heart thingy, right? I just put a brand new battery. It is dead. I have to figure out a way to shunt it and charge it. The stick shift. I think that one maybe might crank with the help of the, jump pack. It might have some charge left in it, only because the stick shift has fewer electronics. 72 Continental still runs. Knock on wood. 73. It's all covered and messed up. It's leaking inside, so its days may be numbered. Ranchero is a Flintstone mobile, no floors. The bus is dead. I probably should say which ones are running. The Crown Vic is still done. I can't find a grounding cable for that car. Thanks, Ford. The Marquis is running like a champ. Jeep Cherokeeing is still Cherokeeing. I had a disaster with the other bus. I was screwed over by somebody I thought was a friend of mine. Oh, he's an American. He must have money. He must be loaded. Let me screw him over. And that's what he did. Missing window, raining inside of it. No batteries. He stole a tire from me because he had a flat and, took one of mine because they were brand new. Is this what we've become. I don't know. I don't want this to be depressing, man, because there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of good things happening. Hopefully elections go well this year and economy picks up and, you know, people have more time to watch and I can afford just something like gasoline and this and that. So I can do some crazy stuff with these cars and hopefully my health cooperates. Ultimately, that's the big thing. Battery, I will be, probably the next video will be our Rippers rides. I'm going to go over some of your cars. I still can take submissions, so if you want, send me an email at dacman@directive25.com, but make sure you put the title Rippers rides. You know, tell me a cool story about why you like that car. It doesn't have to be a Dodge, doesn't, you know, but if you do have the t-shirt, wear it with pride. This has been the first recording I've done in about 6 weeks. I had a horrible freaking bird AIDS or whatever the hell I had. I'm still kind of hacking up a lung, but the show must go on. I want this to be a dialogue. I want you guys to comment. I want, not for the sake of the commenting, because it's not going to be that many people, but I want to talk to you guys. Like, what do you feel about this whole mess? What do you feel about the whole demon thing? And now Jay Leno is going to deliver this car to this guy, while the rest of us are kind of like, well, you know, us mere plebs. They're hoping that somehow they're going to get people to be motivated to buy the electric garbage that's coming out. So I'm going to leave it at that. I am, again, if you want to buy the t-shirts, links will be in the description. Want to thank everybody that did buy them. Always awesome, and offsets my dismal YouTube. And let's not get a Rumble. Fix your stuff, for crying out loud, man. It's like, takes me 3 days to upload, and sometimes it won't even show that it's live. And thank you to everybody on BitChute. You guys are great. So I'm Alex. This is Rip Roaring Garage, where oil is thicker than blood. Hemi alike, and I hope you have a rip roaring day.